Arsenal survived the late scare and escaped with a 2-1 victory over Nottingham Forest on Saturday in our first Premier League game of the season. It's a much needed 3 points to kickstart the season. Hopefully it's going to be a successful one under Mikel Arteta. So in today's video we're going to run through my Arsenal player ratings for the game. So what's going on everyone, you're listening to Gunner Central here, hope you're all doing well. Of course, if you're looking for more Arsenal content this season, then be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an upload. Without further ado, let's get into these ratings. In goalkeeper, it's Ramsdale. I gave him a 7 out of 10. He didn't really have much to do, and what he did do, he did very well. If you think about the early chance that Johnson got in the beginning of the game, I think Ramsdale did very well to get off his line and close the angle, forcing Johnson to sky over the bar. So I think that was very good from Ramsdale. His distribution was solid, nothing to write home about, but he didn't make any mistakes either. I think he did his part, played his role quite well. Nothing he really could have done with the goal that we conceded, so I don't really have any problems with that. He's gonna have to have a big season though, this season with Raya waiting in the wings, which is good though because it's gonna improve our goalkeepers, competition for that spot with Champions League games and FA Cup games, and hopefully competing for the Premier League. I'm gonna touch more on the goalkeeping position in a future video, so stay tuned to that. Left back, we had Timber. I gave him a 7 out of 10. It would have been way higher, I think, had he played the whole game, but obviously going out the injury in the 50th minute, I think I can't give him anything higher than a 7, as much as I'd love to. There's still no news on the injury at the time of recording, so hopefully it's not as bad as some people are thinking it's going to be. But yeah, Timber's absolute class. On the ball, off the ball, he's just so good. Defensively, he doesn't really make too many mistakes. On the ball, he's so calm with it. He ticks the ball over quite well. I think the best way I would describe him is he's like a Rolls Royce. He's like luxury. He's a luxury player. So good at what he does. It's an amazing signing from Arteta, Edu, and the scouting team. In centre back, we had Saliba, who I gave a 7.5 out of 10. He is the first thing I think about with Saliba against Nottingham Forest is how strong he is on winning the ball back. How he'll body people off the ball and he'll just take that ball and he'll be cool, calm, and collected when he wins it. He'll spread it over around the field quite nicely as well. I think Saliba is a really good player, one of the best central defenders in the Premier League for sure, especially the best young one, I'd say. He didn't make any mistakes during the game. However, I say that and you think about the early chance that Johnson got. I wouldn't say it's Saliba's fault, I'd say the whole back line, the ball coming in behind the back line. But yeah, other than that, I think he's a very classy centre back, and I was quite happy. I think 7.5 out of 10 is quite a fair rating. Ben White, I gave a 7 out of 10. I was surprised he started in centre back and we had Gabriel on the bench. Obviously, Partey came into the right back position. But even from centre back, there was a couple good overlapping runs from Ben White. He didn't really make too many mistakes neither. He was solid defensively. Yeah, there's not much more to say about Benjamin White. I think overall it was a solid game from him, and I would like to see him in the next game against Palace, back at right back with Gabriel in his position and Partey maybe in the DM, but we'll talk about that in another video or something. But yeah, I'm happy with 7 out of 10 for Ben White. Partey at right back, I also gave him a 7 out of 10. Quite a 7 out of 10 game for everyone. I was very surprised to see him start there. I think his talents are slightly wasted at right back, his midfield talents, and yeah, I prefer him in the next game to be in DM with maybe Declan next to him. But it wasn't a bad performance overall from him. I think he did what he wanted. He did what he could. But if you think about the goal we conceded, that was just bombing down the right hand side that from a corner. So if you're gonna think maybe Partey's responsible for that, then I won't blame you either. I think that's a fair shout. Next, CDM, my man of the match, Declan Rice, 8 out of 10. What a player he is. When we have the ball, he keeps the ball ticking around the midfield. Defensively, he's tenacious, he's aggressive, he tracks back. Very high work rate, both sides of the ball. He is such a good player, and I said in the previous video, and I'll say it again, I think 2-3 years time that £105 million Declan Rice is going to be such a good bargain. Despite all the criticism that we get in now for the price that we paid for Declan, I think it was outstanding. As long as he can keep this up and keep improving, yeah, sky's the limit for Declan, I think. Central midfield, we had Kai Havertz. I'll give him a 6 out of 10 for this one. He wasn't bad. but he just, he wasn't great. I think he wasn't involved enough to get a higher rating than 6 out of 10. He had good moments when he broke behind the lines, a couple chances he got, maybe he should have controlled better. I think, he's getting a lot more criticism than he deserves. If you see Twitter, everyone is just roasting him, and I don't believe he's that bad of a player. I think there's a player in there for sure. He's so good in his moments. I think, if Arteta can bring more out of him and make him more consistent, I think he's perfect for the system we play and running in behind the line, playing that Xhaka role that we saw last season. He just needs to get used to, also he comes from Chelsea where he played as a number 9 for most of the season last season. If we can just have Kai Havertz just adapt, stay high confidence. I think confidence is very high for a player like Kai Havertz, and if he can keep that, I think he has a huge potential, a huge ceiling. So I give him a 6 out of 10 for that game. Martin Odegaard, 7 out of 10, a solid game from him. Sulky on the ball, sulky as ever. Good moments with his footwork, his feet are so good. He helped open the defense at times. I think it was just an overall solid game for Martin Odegaard. Nothing we didn't expect from 7 out of 10. I think it's a fair one for him. Now, left wing mate Gabriel Martinelli. I gave him a 7 out of 10. You could argue it could be a little bit higher. He had a great piece of skill to set up the first goal from Eddie. Did he mean it though? Didn't he? Did he want to get past the defenders and keep running with it himself? Did he mean to pass to Nketiah? We'll give him benefit of the doubt and say he meant it. But otherwise, I think he pushed the pace really nicely when he got the ball. He tried to take on defenders. They were trying to double team him at times, and he still got past a couple of double teams. So I think Martinelli had a really solid game. It's just, I think Martinelli thrives even more when a team tries to play a higher line than that, and you can let Martinelli run in behind and be tenacious and try and get the ball and things like that. But I gave him a 7 out of 10. I think it was a very solid performance from him. Next, at striker, we have Eddie Nketiah, who on Twitter, me included, didn't really want him starting. Not that he's not a good player, not that he's not a good goal scorer. I just thought maybe Trossard would have been better up there, or we could put Martinelli up top and Trossard on the left or something like that. But Nketiah proved us all wrong, as he usually tends to do. He got the first goal, which I think was very important against a team that sits back. You have to break them down so they can come out their shell a little bit. So I was very happy with that from Nketiah. Was he a little bit lucky with it? Possibly, but I mean, you make your own luck as a striker, so props to him. He's now scored 14 goals in the last 16 home games, which I wouldn't have, if you told me that, I wouldn't have believed it, but fair play, Eddie. Eddie's a good goal scorer, great fox in the box, and he's definitely going to come crucial this season. If I'd have him over Balogun, that's a story for another day, but I think he came under a lot of criticism for starting the game, and he got his goal and it proved a lot of us wrong. Right wing, Saka, 7.5 out of 10. A little bit under Declan Rice, I think. Saka with an elite finish. Elite. This boy is so special. We knew it from the moment he scored that goal against Frankfurt, from the preseason that season. He did really well when Forest were trying to double team him in the game. He either passed out, he tried to take him on. He got Ola Aina on a yellow card quite early, which was very, very helpful. And I think the moment Saka went inside, you kind of knew what was going to happen. He put it beautifully in the top corner. And otherwise, I think it was really good. He tried to track back on the goal we conceded. So I don't blame him at all for that. 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10 is quite solid for Bukayo. Now substitutions, we had Tomiyasu. I gave him a 6 out of 10. He didn't have enough time to warrant a 7 or an 8. But he did his role very well. He came on, he held the defense, he tried to support, tried to make overlapping runs when possible. He's winning some headers. Not a bad game from Tomiyasu at all. Trossard, again, 6 out of 10 as well. He didn't have enough time to warrant anything higher, but he did do well when he came on. He used his skill very nicely. He's so technically gifted. There was a time where he hit where we were on the ropes a little bit and Forest were attacking and Trossard got the ball and he just hit it and he gassed. I can't even remember who it was. Did very well. I don't know if Trossard was that quick. I'll be interested to see if he gets a start against Palace. Do we go with the same team? I think that's up for Arteta to decide. And Gabriel, when he came on, I'm not giving him any rating. I think he was just there, did his job, held down the defense, and he should be starting the next game. I think we should have a Timber if he's healthy, Saliba, Ben White, and Gabriel on the back four. I think that should be the back four we go with. Arteta, I give him a 7 out of 10. I would have preferred him to start Gabriel, like I've just said, but I think he did quite well. The substitutions, all three substitutions he brought on were very, very solid. They did their job and they held the game out. I would have liked us to be a little more aggressive in the second half. Don't know if that's up to Arteta or the players, but 7 out of 10 I think is quite good. He got 3 points to start the season right, and now we can push on and worry about Crystal Palace. I think overall it was a solid display from the team. The game was more comfortable than the score suggests, I'd say. But yeah, I see there's a lot of people complaining about this, about that. I think we just take 3 points, move on to Palace. And yeah, I would love to know your ratings for the game, so be sure to leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.